orders for Dallas police this weekend. Officers can no longer make arrests or write citations for anyone with less than 4 ounces of marijuana. The new order comes from a proposition passed by Dallas voters in November. Now, according to an internal memo obtained by WFAA, DPD officers, they also can't consider the smell of marijuana probable cause to search anyone. That's unless it's a part of a violent felony or a high priority narcotics felony investigation.
Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Officer Richard Cobb keeping a straight face as he listened to the verdict, clearing him of misdemeanor assault charges. Surveillance video from Sal's Pizza in Concord shows Cobb pushing a homeless man to the ground and against a police cruiser in April 2023 while on duty. Prosecutors say it was a well-tried case.
We respect the jury's decision. This was a case that we thought should be presented to the jury. The main issue was whether this was an objectively reasonable action, and that was ultimately the jury's question to decide.
We also asked the defense for their thoughts.
Mr. Cobb, not to you guys, no.
The 3-day trial focused on how Cobb arrested the man and his use of force. In closing arguments, the prosecution focused on the act itself.
He didn't take Blake to the ground. He slammed him. It was sudden, it was unnecessary, and it was unreasonable.
The defense said Cobb's actions were about officer safety.
The handcuffing process is one of the most dangerous parts of their job. If things go wrong during that process, it can turn deadly.
And guys, as a reminder, Cobb's been on unpaid leave with the Concord Police Department since May of 2023. When we talked to the state after today, they said they're going to reevaluate whether or not they want to pursue those other charges in the separate case. If so, that's set to start a little later this year.
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. We're going to start it out in Alexandria, Louisiana. That's right. And we're looking at a goofball deputy. That's right. She's gotten herself into trouble. So now there's a trial date set for this Pineville police officer. She's not a deputy. She's an officer. Same thing, I guess. She's been arrested for domestic abuse battery. Let's find out what's going to happen with her. A trial date has been set for Lacey Ann Fields, a Pineville police officer who was arrested in connection with a domestic disturbance back in 2024. Way back when. Well, Fields was arrested for domestic battery and aggravated assault with a firearm in late October 2024. On Thursday, January 9th, she pleaded not guilty to all charges in court. Her trial date has now been set for March 20th, 2025, and we'll be watching that. Pineville Police Department confirmed that prior to her court appearance on January 9th, Fields resigned and is no longer an employee of the city of Pineville. She said goodbye. Okay, that's all we got on her. So let's just move on with the show. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it.
Back on November 15th, a motorcyclist was heading north on Highway 89 when prosecutors say he was hit from behind by a car driven by 28-year-old Marcus Collins. A criminal complaint doesn't detail Collins' job, but court records reviewed by Fox 6 show Collins is a deputy U.S. Marshal. Filings say Collins told investigators the motorcyclist, identified in court filings as 36-year-old Eric Stubbe, passed Collins shortly before the crash. Collins said he received a work email and looked down at his phone, but when he looked up, the motorcyclist slowed to turn into a driveway. Stubbe was airlifted to the hospital. He died several days later. When asked by investigators what the work email was regarding, Collins said he didn't have the chance to open it. It was that quick. It was just a glance. Filings say Collins had just left downtown Jefferson, but a search of his personal phone showed Collins and a woman were texting in the moments before the crash. Investigators also pulled surveillance video from a nearby business that shows the motorcyclist followed by Collins, contradicting his statement. Waukesha County says Stubbe worked for the sheriff's department for more than 6 years, 4 years as a deputy sheriff and a little more than 2 years as a detective. It's unclear if Collins has an attorney who can speak on his behalf. He's due in court next month for his first court appearance.
New video tonight that shows the moments a teen was shot by a Texas DPS trooper. But we want to let you know that we are freezing the video before it appears the teen is shot. Look at the upper right corner of your screen. You can see the Texas DPS trooper and the vehicle there that stopped, the white one. Suddenly the teen breaks away, runs across the street. He appears to turn back toward the trooper, and that's when the trooper fires several times. The teen falls into the grass. This happened at around 11 a.m. Friday along Will Clayton Parkway near Village Tower Drive. During the stop, the trooper said he noticed, quote, criminal drug activity, and while patting down the 17-year-old, felt what the trooper believed to be a pistol. We're told a gun was found near where the teen was shot. The teen was taken to the hospital with a gunshot wound to his torso. The Texas Rangers are investigating.
It's going down, y'all, and you knew it would. That's right, Dearra Fields. She's suing him. You remember seeing her get body slammed by that goofball cop in Akron? Well, this is what it is. Dearra Fields, the woman who an Akron police officer body slammed during a family argument in January 2024, she has sued the city of Akron in federal court. The suit, filed by Fields' attorney Hmcd Okolo on Friday, also lists Akron police officers Thomas Shoemaker, remember him, Sergeant Timothy Schmigel, and Chris Brian Harding as defendants. Yeah, we remember those guys. This suit lists allegations for 6 claims: excessive force, supervisory municipal liability, assault and battery, malicious prosecution, and negligence. They did all that. Okay, City of Akron spokeswoman Stephanie Marsh declined to comment. Oh, come on, Steph. Okay, the Beacon Journal reached out to Okolo for comment on Saturday and has not yet received a response. Oh, come on, Okolo. Okay, the suit alleged that Shoemaker assaulted Fields when he body slammed her. Okay, let me move this over a little bit, you guys. Body slammed her on January 11th, 2024 and wrongfully arrested her. It further stated that Shoemaker used gratuitous force and that Mrs. Fields was not actively resisting arrest and posed no threat to defendants or others. Okay, then the suit alleged Shoemaker wrongfully pursued Fields' criminal prosecution. Like only a dirty bad apple would, you know what I mean? Shoemaker, the knucklehead. Okay, in June, a jury found Fields not guilty of obstructing official business and resisting arrest. Oh, and Okolo was like, yeah, Okolo also represented Fields in that case. Good job, Okolo. Okay, the lawsuit also alleges that Schmigel had a duty to intercede, but he didn't when he watched Shoemaker body slam Fields and violate her constitutional rights. Just another day at the office for those knuckleheads, all right? They're bad apples. Akron Independent Police Auditor Anthony Fennell said in April that Shoemaker used unjustified force and should be disciplined. He sure should. Harding rejected those findings in October. Okay, the lawsuit said that Shoemaker's direct supervisor, Schmigel, and Harding were aware of Shoemaker's misconduct, but they took no action, failed to impose reasonable discipline, failed to follow the chain of command, failed to document the instances of misconduct, and or otherwise abandon his supervisory duties. That's what they do. You cannot respect these idiots, especially if they have stripes on their arms. Okay, the Friday suit mentioned in separate federal lawsuit against Shoemaker that was settled in favor of the plaintiff. The plaintiff was a protester in Akron's police killing of Jalen Walker. Shoemaker punched the protester in the face twice while the protester was restrained by other officers. Shoemaker is an idiot, okay? I would say allegedly, but he really is, okay? The recent filed suit listed separate incidents that it stated exemplify how the city of Akron is aware of its officers in how they engage in violent behavior and involves excessive force in violation of the Fourth Amendment, which disproportionately involves African Americans. Well, because of conduct by Shoemaker, the Friday suit alleged Fields suffered injuries and damages, including but not limited to physical injuries, adverse consequences for attending court proceedings, of course, emotional trauma, no doubt, distress, loss of reputation, loss of liberty, and other damaging things set forth in this complaint. Alrighty. Fields seeks money damages and a jury trial. Alrighty. That's going to be good. Okay, Dearra, we're on your side. We're against these bad apples. Thank you for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. On with the show.
Good evening. I'm Michael Rinker. A request for the release of police body camera footage has been denied by a Houston County court. A Dothan woman was trying to obtain the footage where she repeatedly was hit by an officer. WDHN's Aaron Dixon has the story.
A judge denying a request for the release of police body camera footage from a viral incident last month at Elks Lodge in Dothan, where 5 people say they were falsely arrested, tased, and one of them even beaten by a Dothan police officer.
Serious offense, serious charge for which she's not guilty of. This stuff is the requested information that we sought is completely relevant to this criminal matter.
On December 15th, officers responded after a fight allegedly started inside. After attempting to make what police are calling a lawful detainment or arrest on someone outside, police say Dothan resident April Franklin got too close to the arresting officers and refused to step back, prompting her arrest. In the video provided by an eyewitness on the scene, you can see a female officer on top of Franklin repeatedly striking her in the head. Franklin requested for the state to release the officer's body camera footage, the officer's personnel file, and anything involving this investigation. The state argued this request by saying the case is still being investigated internally. All discovery will be released following Franklin's potential indictment, and they say this request was not made for this criminal case, but instead a possible civil suit against the department. Dothan Police told us last month that the incident is under a thorough investigation by the Internal Affairs Department, and although they don't typically release body camera footage, they are committed to ensuring transparency and accountability. Following this denial, Fowler has filed another motion in the case, requesting for the custodian of records for Houston County to testify about this information in a preliminary hearing.
We feel that case law is confident that we can call this witness. The Alabama Court of Criminal Appeals has said we can call these witnesses at the preliminary hearing.
A ruling is still pending.
Dang. When did they start employing schlee stacks at the jail? Okay, former Bibb County deputy arrested for smuggling contraband into the county jail. Ooh, she's the looker. Macon, Georgia. A former Bibb County deputy was arrested after bringing contraband into the county jail. I guess I should have saved this for tomorrow so I could say, you don't hear this every day on the Bad Apple Report, you know what I mean? Okay. According to the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, Misty Romeo, was employed by BSO and assigned to the Corrections Division, where she was fired from her position on January 7th in connection to a contraband investigation. BSO said an investigation concluded that Romeo brought tobacco, synthetic marijuana, and cell phone inside the Bibb County Law Enforcement Center upon reporting to work. Listen, if you're going to smuggle and go out on a limb, why would you bring fake weed into jail? Is real weed not available? Maybe it smells different. I don't know. Romeo was taken into custody on Friday just before noon by BSO and Perry Police. Romeo was wanted on several warrants. I bet she was embarrassed. She had no idea she was about to get arrested. She thought she was going to get away with it. Romeo was booked into the Bibb County Law Enforcement Center, where she is charged with giving inmates contraband, attempting to conspire to violate the Georgia Controlled Substance Act. Oh, violation of oath by a public officer. Ooh, that's the big one. And communication in the commission of a felony involving controlled substance. They'll get you on just about anything once they got you. And they got you, lady. And we got you on the Bad Apple Report. All right, let's move on.
Breaking news update right now. Decatur police officer charged with murder for an on-duty shooting is asking for an immunity hearing. Mac Marquette is charged with murder for the September 2023 shooting death of homeowner Steve Perkins during a repossession of his pickup truck. Marquette's lawyers filed claims of immunity where they lay out details surrounding the night of the shooting. The new filing says Marquette saw Perkins with a gun and ordered him to put it down, and that he fired only when Perkins pointed the gun at him. State prosecutors say the evidence pointed to the charge of murder for the former officer in this case. A judge ordered the immunity hearing will be taken up at Marquette's April's trial.
Okay, folks, here's a story you don't hear every day. Unless, of course, you watch the Bad Apple Report every day. Then you hear it every day. Here we go. MDOC officer accomplice arrested in $443,000 drug smuggling attempt into a Michigan correctional facility. That's one big attempt. Seriously. Michigan Department of Corrections, Officer Andre Taylor, age 59, from Clinton Township, and accomplice Edward King, age 57, both old enough to know better, from Detroit, have been arrested and arraigned in court after attempting to smuggle $443,000 worth of drugs into a correctional facility. How did they do it? Officials say in December 2024, the Upper Peninsula Substance Enforcement Team, East, received a tip from MDOC regarding a potential smuggling attempt involving an MDOC officer after an internal investigation. In partnership with MDOC, detectives from Michigan State Police, and troopers from the MSP Salt Suite, Marine, and San Ignacio posts initiated an investigation that led to coordinated traffic stops of the suspects' vehicles. They took them down. Okay, the investigation revealed that Taylor had coordinated with King by attempting to smuggle illegal contraband into Kenrose Correctional Facility. Taylor was employed as a correctional officer at the MDOC and was temporarily assigned to Kenrose Correctional Facility. MSP troopers completed the traffic stop, executed search warrants, and further subsequent investigations resulted in significant amount of illegal contraband being seized, including, here we go, folks, 15 sheets of suspected K2 paper, whatever the hell that is, 50 A12 Suboxone strips, 514 N8 Suboxone strips, 74 grams of marijuana wax. Woo! 62 grams of methamphetamine. The estimated value seized is $443,000. In addition, $4,592 in cash was seized from Taylor, which was suspected to be payment for these illegal operations. So Taylor and King were arrested and lodged in the Chippewa County Jail. They're lodged there, you guys. I wonder if it's like a... Never mind. They'll get an international breakfast in the morning, if you know what I mean. Okay. Both Taylor and King have been arraigned in the 91st... Blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's the deal with those guys. A couple of goofball bad apples, and they made it on to the Bad Apple Report. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. Now let's move on with the show.
Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been just over a month since Robert Brooks lost his life in what advocates are calling a senseless act of violence. This afternoon, News Channel 9's Victoria Kellogg stood outside of the state office building in Utica, where dozens demanded answers and reform.
Justice for Robert Brooks.
Advocates across the state banding together to fight for accountability.
Lock him up! Lock him up!
For the group of corrections officers that were caught on video brutalizing inmate Robert Brooks to finally be reprimanded for what protesters believe is murder.
When someone comes to prison, it doesn't matter what they're in jail for. You are criminals also. You should go to jail. When I saw that Robert Brooks video, I felt every hit he felt.
He said he was beaten while incarcerated too, and says they're not the only ones.
They continue to treat them as if they are not people, and society continues to accept this treatment of them. Incarcerated lives matter. How you decide to try to placate to society as if you did not know these things were going on, or as if there needs to be an investigation. You can clearly see these individuals committed murder on that video. There is no investigation. Right.
Vowing to continue to fight for justice and change.
Not a day goes by where I don't wonder what it would be like to be a malevolent malfaisant. Just kidding. I don't even really know what that means. St. Mary Parish deputy arrested for malfaisance, which is terrible, in office for misleading an investigation. That's right. This goofball, a St. Mary Parish deputy, has been arrested for malfeasance in office. Michael Swords is his name, age 71. That's too old, Michael, to be malfeasant. He's from Patterson, Louisiana, and he was arrested on Friday on a warrant for malfeasance in office. Authorities say they were made aware of an incident in which a St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office fleet vehicle was involved in a collision with an emergency services vehicle from another agency. Well, T, officials say during the investigation, I think they mean the, I don't know, maybe it's T, but T officials say during the investigation they learned Deputy Michael Swords had intentionally provided inaccurate information regarding the operation of the department vehicle. Like what? After an internal investigation, authorities said Swords had violated internal policies and the law. The decision was made to terminate the employment of the deputy from the SMPSO, and a warrant was obtained on the charge of malfeasance in office. Ooh. It is never pleasant to have to arrest one of our own. Come on, Gary Driscoll. It should be extremely pleasant. It's very pleasant for us when you do. We love it. However, we must hold ourselves as law enforcement officers to the same standards as all citizens. Oh, you must? Must you? Yes, indeed. Upholding the law and maintaining public trust are our essential mission. We don't believe you. We think absconding the truth is your essential mission. Swords was transplanted to St. Mary Parish Law Enforcement Center for booking. His bail was set at $25,000. He's probably out watching the Bad Apple Report this morning. Hello, goofball Swords, you old knucklehead. All right. Let's move on with the show.
When travelers touch down at Jacksonville International Airport, they're greeted by a hologram of the mayor. But now City Council is trying to change that. News for Jax reporter Khalil Maycock tells us why some members are demanding to send the machine back less than a month after it was unveiled at JAX.
This week, questions surrounding this hologram came up in City Council's Finance Committee meeting concerning the cost and where the source of funding for this is from. This machine, which was placed out of view Saturday evening at the airport, is the City of Jacksonville's 3D-like hologram. It typically displays Mayor Donna Deegan giving travelers a welcome message. But earlier this week, that message wasn't wanted by some on the City Council's Finance Committee.
And I frankly think you ought to send the damn thing back.
Ron Salem and some other members saying they don't understand why this was invested in. During the meeting, the city auditor questioned if Jack's Epics could sponsor the hologram because Jack's Epics is funded by building inspection fees. And she wonders if building inspection fees can ultimately be used to pay the invoices for the machine. And in this setting, it was also revealed the box, which some thought cost $30,000, is closer to $75,000. When you heard that, what were your thoughts?
Oh, it's absolutely an illegal use of funds. The mayor's office spent money that should be for permitting on the Holodonna, and that's just not right.
City Council member Rory Diamond is a member on the Finance Committee. He says that money spent on the hologram could have been spent elsewhere. But during the meeting, the mayor's chief of staff argued this will benefit the city because it follows a method that the city could use in the future.
Basically, the box is going to be an education program for how you submit planning, how you submit permits, how you deal with the system, and it's going to be in different locations.
And Diamond says he would understand our city having this hologram if it was bigger. But since it's not, he says we need to focus more on pressing issues and put the money spent on that box towards those issues.
This protester was tackled without warning and arrested right there during a news interview. This happened back in 2019, and that man filed a lawsuit against Phoenix police. Now, almost 5 years later, the case has finally gone to trial.
And is being heard right now by a jury. Tonight, ABC 15 Chief Investigator Dave Biscobine is here to explain why he's keeping a close eye on this case.
On its face, this case doesn't stand out nearly as much as many of the other major lawsuits and scandals facing Phoenix PD. But it may end up being an important test case. That's because it's the first protest lawsuit to go to trial since the Department of Justice released its report about Phoenix PD. And that report is now official evidence in the case.
There's something going on, Ron. Okay?
This is Jorge Soria. And back in July 2019, he was being interviewed by a reporter with the Arizona Mirror at a protest.
Oh, hey! They got him! They got him!
Then, all of a sudden, Phoenix officers tackle and arrest him. Soria filed this lawsuit against Phoenix police, along with Phil Martinez, another man arrested that night. The lawsuit alleges Phoenix police cherry-picked Mr. Martinez and Mr. Soria for arrest from a larger group to retaliate against them for exercising their First Amendment rights. The city attorneys are denying that completely. In court this week, they say it's simple. The two were arrested because police declared an unlawful assembly and Soria and Martinez didn't leave. The two arrests were cited specifically in the Department of Justice's investigation that found Phoenix PD retaliates against protesters. The DOJ report says, quote, at a protest in July 2019, a Phoenix PD lieutenant directed officers to arrest a 62-year-old protester while he was in the middle of giving an interview to a reporter. The report added, other people remained in the same area at that time, also allegedly in violation of earlier dispersal orders. Yet officers arrested just the man and one other protester, a community leader and vocal critic of Phoenix PD, who was well known to the lieutenant in charge. Phoenix PD's decision to target these two protesters while allowing others to walk away suggests that it was the protesters' expressive activities that prompted Phoenix PD to select them for arrest. All charges against both protesters were dismissed the following day. Now, the court is letting that part of the DOJ report come into trial as evidence. That means the jury will get to read that section and see how the DOJ found Phoenix routinely violated First Amendment rights and retaliated against critics. Now, this trial will continue into the middle of next week. Again, it's not anywhere near the biggest case facing Phoenix, but win or lose, the precedent of having the DOJ report being allowed in as evidence will play a role in a lot of other cases in the future. We'll keep you updated. I'm investigator Dave Biscobine, ABC 15, Arizona.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. We did it. We made it through another Bad Apple Report, and we're going to do it again tomorrow. So I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to whip up another batch of bad apples just for you. And hopefully we'll see you right back here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. bright and early. Have a great day, folks.